So that is ready. Hello everyone. So I just changed the music a little bit and improved that. And here we go. Good morning. Hello everyone. Nice to see you. Hope you are well. I have so many plans with you guys. Oh, hello coding guy. So you have still your problem with your streams, or did you fix that finally? Hey Hasnantai, hope you are well. Long time no see. How's it going with your interviews? Yeah, so I have today some plans with you guys because you maybe remember that we started on Wednesday with our website or with our Flutter website, and I wanted to use therefore a headless CMS and everything. And because it's like always that I have a lot of topics and everything, and especially if we make these projects now, and currently we have like 3 projects side by side that we do in live coding. Hey Taha, nice to see you. I'm so happy that you received your t-shirt. And because we have the whole topics, I would like to do today a little bit more like requirements, designs, and so on and so forth, and we will talk about all that stuff. And even if it's getting a little bit boring, I hope you are happy with that, else we will find something else. So you fixed your problem. Very good, coding guy. I'm very happy with that. Very good. I'm busy with the Flutter sessions on GDG. All right. Fantastic. So how is it working with the GDG in Bangalore? And in the meantime, I can maybe switch to the solo live coding. If something is too loud or the music is too loud or something, just give me a hint. And I will start a little bit. So the first thing that I did this morning, or at least let's say some seconds ago, has been to create this document again. And since new times, I'm a very big fan of this whole Google Docs part. And because we want to recreate the Flutter Explained website, right? And the last time I just started by developing, as always, right? Like a good developer. But the problem with that is always a bit tricky, right? So if you do that, you will lose some context and then you forget some parts and so on and so forth. Hey, Morbleu, nice to see you. I moved to Auth widget above the Material app and now I can access the streams. Ah, fantastic. Yep, so that will work, of course. So you had just a problem that you didn't have it in the widget tree? Okay. So as the last time when we worked, we created this navigation header bar here. So we have now like in Bootstrap or something, and I think we had a design that we wanted to recreate that was just a full page. And I think some people had very good ideas that we should have an SVG from Undraw, for example, and make that a little bit with an animation so in front. So we would have our what was the name? We had it in Bootstrap, I think. That is Jumbotron, a fantastic name. So the idea is that we create something like this and put that on the left side. So here in this side, and on the right side, we would have like an animated SVG from Undraw and make that a little bit bigger and maybe have stacked containers around that. Ooh, music is very loud. So, but this is at the moment all in my head, and as always with stuff that is only in my head, it's getting very difficult to explain. So the idea is that we together maybe write a little bit on that documentation here and also make a little bit of a design for that. Are you happy with that as a start for today? I don't know how long this stream is going. I hope longer than usual, but let's see. This is the wrong document that you will receive now. I have to change also in the documents a little bit, but very good, coding guy. You're very fit with that. So I will directly check the codes and commands. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Fantastic. So let me change that. So doc streams will be changed now to doc. Let me think. That will be recipe app. So then we have that there in place. And the other thing is doc. This is website, I think. And we have the requirements for the website you can find here. And voila. So you can now, hopefully, doc website, and this should return us the right thing. And of course, I should maybe share that as a changeable thing, and I think that I haven't done yet. So we will change that, take that to commenter. Fantastic. And then I have to update again the link. Sorry for that. So, and slowly our live stream is getting better and better. Confirm. And hey, Cheetan Shine. Nice to see you around. So the second link that you received is the one where you can also edit a little bit of the stuff. So, okay, so this is the idea. So it is a real project this time, because the website that we currently have, the miracledesign.de, is a beautiful website. Oh, really? Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Cool, even better. So the current website that we have is in WordPress. And you see, we have also these Jumbotron stuff. We have these buttons and so on. Some images that we take from Pexels at the moment. And it looks very plain and basic. And I don't know if you have ever been on this website so far. There you'll find the 2 apps that we created. There's currently also missing one. The electric app that we provided is also not here, unfortunate. Then some contact us. You can write us some mails. And of course, the most important part is the blog. And here we have currently some articles, and I always switch between Medium and this website, and most part is that I don't like to write in WordPress. So I heard about a lot of different headless CMS that there are. And with headless CMS, we would be able to create content and deliver that via an API to our Flutter application that we get in the web. So that would be my idea to work with that. The problem is there are a lot of headless CMS, and now you come into play, because I can't decide which one is the best. And so we will just have a short look which headless CMS there are. So top 5 maybe. Do we have something like that? The most popular ones, okay. So let's see what WireDelta are telling us about the headless CMS. Directors is great. Okay. The only problem is we don't have money, right? So we can only use open source or free headless CMS. And I think I should add that here. Open source CMS. Yep. Let me write that correctly. Something like that. And then I would make a poll with you, and you have the option to decide which headless CMS there will be. Or top 5 free CMS. Fantastic. Headless, right? So headless CMS. So here we have something. Agility CMS, contentful. Wow. There is even some missing, right? I thought one of the fantastic ones is Strappy or something, right? And Storyblock is also not part of it. Interesting. Oh, here's Strappy. Pretty far below. Apostrophe CMS. Okay, so yeah, then I would start with creating a poll. Do you have some headless CMS that you would like to have in the list? Then I can already start with that. Good point. Yep, we can check that. For first, I want to just jump into it just to see what happens here. So as a developer, it is free for small sites, proof of concepts, and just for fun, all right? 5 users, 10 gigabyte, that should be enough for the beginning. Yes, WordPress is a CMS, but the problem with WordPress is that it is not headless. So it is quite a challenge to get all the block entries out of as a REST API or something. We could take that from WordPress, but I'm not sure how easy that will be. Would it be useful? I think so. We could maybe do that. I'm not sure about that. So before we start with the headless CMS, would that be the better option? What do you think? Okay, so but that's curious now. Storyblock. I thought Storyblock is very well known because it is used by a lot of big companies, and the benefit of that is that it is usable via with a GUI in front of it. Free with one user, that's fine for now. We have unlimited calls, asset manager, webhook, so nearly everything that you need actually. And I think I have even an account here already. So I would say Storyblock is part of it. So which headless CMS should we use? Option 1 would be Storyblock. Command would be Storyblock. All right. So what would be the second one? So Strapi. All right. Let's have a look. I think all of them are pretty well maintained, like Strapi and so on. I know that they are pretty well maintained. So you see also with Strapi we have 27,000 GitHub stars, which is quite a lot. Yeah, you're right. So for example, Storyblock, you're right, is not open source, right? Or? This is the CLI. So yeah, it seems that it is not really open source. It's a good point, I don't know that. I have never informed myself about Headless CMS till today, so... But this seems to be open source, right, Strapi? And I found the website from Strapi extremely awesome with that animation from the browser window from the left to the right. All right. Stream to the right edit match any content types. Okay, so we can do that effortlessly. So fantastic. Then Strapi is of course one, I would say. Command would be Strapi add. So what's else a good open source CMS? So headless, free or open source? What should we do? Contentful, but this is an advertisement. That's always a sign for it's not open source. Open source. All right, so let's check if we find some open source ones. So wow, super expensive. And is it headless CMS, Reddit, and GitHub? So okay, that seems to be. This is a website that shows us the different CMS that we can get. Okay, so Strapi Ghost seems to be one. Fiercely independent platform for professional publishers. Headless Node.js REST API for developers. All right, with Ember.js admin client editor. All right. Directors. This is this one down here, right? That's a cool website. I love that with the amount of increase or decrease things. That's pretty cool. Wow, so many tweets about it. All right. So I take away Storyblock because it's not open source. Then we would say we have the second option, which is Ghost, I would say. Ghost. And the last one is Directors. Directors. Anything else that we should check out? Publi, Squidex. Is there a Flutter or Dart? Can we find that here maybe? Sort by GitHub stars, alright. Jekyll, Next, built-in, Gatsby, alright. Yeah. It would be cool that there is like a headless CMS for Dart or Flutter. Google Drive CMS, alright. Kenner, Bloomreach. Okay, and then closed source. Okay. Anyhow, let's just take the top 5. Is that okay for you? So like Netlify, I think Butter CMS is not as closed source, right? If you take a look, it seems to be closed sourced. So I will just take the top 5 of these here. And let's see which one we decide, and then we have a deeper look in them. Netlify, at Butter CMS is okay. You melt over. Okay. Multi-channel and multi-site. Okay, marketing side. Yeah, the only problem with that is it's pretty pricey right from the start. A free developer plan. Okay, so if we go to pub.dev and we search for Butter CMS, we find one. There's even an official package, okay. But I think that shouldn't be a problem, right? At the end we can write a package in the worst case for it if it's not existent. So if we search for Strappy, I think there is already something. So yeah. And even if there is already something, we can think about to support the package somehow if it's not good enough for us. And what is the other one? Ghost, right? For the Ghost CMS, there is none. You're not advocating anything, yeah. Up. Me neither. Isn't it great? Netlify, alright. Okay, so that means for Strappy we would have something prepared in the pub.dev. Everything else we would have to prepare ourselves. The Butter CMS, I think Butter CMS, if we really want to take an open source one, would not come into the idea, right? It's not a part of it. And then we just add Publi also. Publi. Voila. So we have now 5 CMS. I created a poll for that. Now it's your time to shine because I would like to add your opinion into it. And whatever we are taking now, I will take for the website as a future project, and we will add that to our requirements. So, yeah, the first vote is in. Fantastic. And in the meantime, I can write here something like, we will concentrate in this project for the following headless CMS. So we have 1 vote on Strappy. I will keep it open for like, let's say 5 till 10 minutes. And then we can have the decision, I think. And also new people can have a vote. And in the meantime, because at the moment we don't really need a headless CMS, I would like to start with the design a little bit. So after the last time we had some ideas, right? And because I need images, I will make that smaller. On product hunt, really? Product hunt. Webini, okay. The only problem is, are we sure, or are they all open source? And I think that's getting the problem, right? Hello, comic.js, API, CMS. Serverless CMS seems to be written with GraphQL. General servers are unutilized. With Webini, adopt serverless and save 60 to 80%. Yeah, so it's done with GraphQL. Cool. I was long time not anymore on the Product Hunt website. It's pretty cool. They really improved it. Feather CMS. Cool. Thank you, Prototype. I will add this as an info where we can find new technologies and so on. And also this website I would like to add. So there would be like links we used or something. Links we used. Product Hunt, and I think the other one is also very interesting. Yeah, that's true, more blur. I think that makes sense. But mostly with open source projects, you have to, let's say it, you have to do a bit for yourself, you know? Then you have a little bit more work there. Sometimes, at least. So we have a lot of anonymous people inside. The quagga and the hippo. Nice to see you. All right. And with the design, I would just recreate for now the new the website that we had already. Where is it? Here? No. Ah, here. We are devs, that's absolutely correct. And additionally, we all learn something from it, right? So that's also good. Okay, so for our header bar, we need our logo and a little bit of text, and I would like to add that here too. So let's see if I find the logo quickly. Up. Let's make that up here, that we don't share all the stuff. And we have the one. Let me check. Here we go, logo, and let's take that one for now. Unfortunately, not a JPEG. So, and the question is, if we have so much space, how big should it be? I think like around 60 maybe. No, that's too small. Maybe 120. And we would add that on the right top corner, something like this. And then we would write some text, so like Flutter explained. It is very basic with that header. I think most of the websites have that currently. And why I do that first in this tool here, which is Adobe XD. I know a lot of you like Figma, and I also can highly recommend Figma. It's also a very cool tool. The problem is I am not that familiar with it. So for me, it is at the moment more a convenient thing. So, and I will jump that down by 20 pixels because I like to have 20 pixels, or 16 pixels would be even optimal, I think. Like at the moment we have 16, and on that side, like 24 in that case. So it will be always a multiply by 8. So 16 in the top, so all the paddings will always be a multiply by 8. Same for the Flutter explained part. So if we check, that should be 24, that's perfect. And I would use my favorite font, which is currently Passion 1. But if you have a better font, we can also make a poll around that, right? So if we want to maybe make it a different font, maybe bigger or something, so just write in the chat and I will add that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, fantastic. Besides of that, this image inside, the problem is that the JPEG here has like a border. So it is not really the right difference between these two. I have to check that in a second. That's true. Yeah, that makes sense. If you work with Linux, then you have maybe some issues there. That's true. Never thought about that, but I don't really have a Linux system at the moment. That could maybe change in a while, but at the moment it's fine. But you're right, that could be a real problem from time to time, especially if you work for companies that are just supporting Linux systems, then it's getting pretty difficult, I can imagine. So why I'm doing this part is I don't like the border around it, but what I like is always a shadow. So with that, it looks like it is separated to the rest of the page. Yeah, true. For Windows, I would like to use that. I think Windows has a very interesting PowerShell functionality where you can have the where you have Linux support at the end. Oh, that's horrible music. So I think it's your vote here. I would like to know which music do you like in the background. Is it chill, epic, upbeat, liked? Can I show you that? I can't, sorry. I can maybe make a screenshot from it and then ask you. So if you have any favorite music style or anything that you would like to hear, we have these stations at the moment that I can use. And we have even more, so down here there's more. Something like this. And if you don't hear the music, then tell me also, then I can increase the volume there. But then it's getting maybe too loud. All right, so in the meantime, I can orient it a little bit. So with that, we have that in place, that's good. And also there. Pretzel is a streaming helper because it only streams music that is helpful with, that is completely royalty free. And with that, you can use it, for example, in YouTube without to be afraid that you get a strike or something because you are using licensed music somewhere. So for example, if I would play my favorite song at the moment, which is Toss a Coin for The Witcher, you would get a strike on YouTube, right? With streaming and so on. And with Pretzel, you get avoiding that because it has a YouTube free music stuff. And then it's just playing that playlist all the time. Hey Flutterist, nice to see you. You're welcome. Okay, so fantastic. We have our logo, we have our text here. And maybe we can even improve our logo a little bit. If I'm searching for it, we have that here. And I think we have a PSD file for that. What we maybe can do is create an SVG out of it. I don't know if this is possible with Photoshop, but maybe you have an idea. So currently we have that as our logo. And what I would like to do is getting rid of the border, at least as big as possible. So something like that. Something like that. And the ratio should be 1:1. So, fantastic. Something like this. And now we can maybe export that as a PNG or something. What do we have as options? We have SVG, look at that. So let's see if this is working. We have the width of 400, that's fine. And we put that on the desktop for now because I find it the easiest. Also, if you don't like Adobe Photoshop, I think there are also alternatives. I, for example, used Yearlong's GIMP, which is also a fantastic tool. So if you are more in the open source or in the free tools, I think GIMP is the name. This guy. And also there is all alternatives at the moment, I think. So my favorite is GIMP Alternative, which is Photoshop. This is Sure, Pixlr. I think that this is pretty cool if you want to work online, but I think Affinity Photo is the one that I searched, which is a pretty cool alternative, which is not that expensive. Okay, so Paint. Can you create SVGs out of Paint? I think the only SVG tool that I else know is the Ink. What was the name? Inkspace or something? Inkscape. The most buggy editor in the world, I think. Krita for Linux. Let's check that out. Yep. So. Oh, there's also for Windows Store. Steam? Alright. So even for macOS, so Krita seems to be for everything, so you can use it there also. Is it also open source? No, but it's free to use, right? Cool. So what I will do is I just add that also in the list of links that we have here. Like here. Free Photoshop alternative. Cool. Alright, so if we check out the voting system, guys, if you want to vote still for the Headless CMS, it's still open. I don't know if I can re-ask for that. By the KDE, alright. So they are pretty famous, right? Because of the whole stuff there. I think they created also the desktop part from Ubuntu, right? This is correct. Ooh, I'm not the Linux guy, so sorry if I'm telling you some stupid stuff. So Inkwell, so that's fine. So now we have an SVG, which makes the stuff a little bit better, I think, because with an SVG we have the opportunity to scale it easier. And as you see, it is immediately a little bit better to handle. And we have to, of course, do it this way. But if we put it now here, and say the width and the height would be around 100. I think I shouldn't do that this way. So like that, and executing the lock here. Hey Manish Gupta, we are working on the same project that we had on Wednesday, where I worked for the, what was it? The website from us. And because I want to do that project a little bit more, I don't want to say correct, but a little bit more thinking about it, I would, I want to create first a design for it, and we want to make some requirements that we have here in the document before we start to code actually, and then really do it step by step. And at the moment we vote for Headless CMS that you can find the poll, I think, a bit above. I can maybe repost that. I don't know why, so something like that. So this poll is currently our selection of Headless CMS that we can use. And what we want to achieve is exactly thinking about what we can do here. Sounds that good? Any other questions? Okay, so we have this header part. And what I would like to do next is getting a cool image from undraw.co. If you don't know Undraw is a fantastic tool or a fantastic website where you find illustrations for your website or for anything. You can use it completely for free, and I will add that also to the link list here. And maybe someone of you guys can maybe once more share this document with the chat by entering the command doc and I think, what was it, website? Cool. So, and what we're searching an illustration is like technology. I think the last time we had a pretty cool one, technology, that I really liked. That would be maybe the best one that we can use, like code. Yep, perfect. Thank you, coding guy. So what I like is this code thinking here. It looks like me, for example. I think a lot about code. Perfect. Thank you, coding guy. That works. And how does the... Yeah, perfect. So we have 3 votes at the moment. My daytime job at the moment is completely on YouTube, actually, Jonas. So I have on the alternative a project that I work on React and on some web technologies. But in general, I would say like 80% of the time I invest in YouTube at the moment. And I got a new job offer that I would maybe take if it's getting a bit dry in the next couple of months, and then I will go to, or I will join the a bit larger company here in Germany. Okay, so what do you think? Should we take an illustration from here? So because what I would, or what I can imagine, I just take this one for now. It is just an example. Of course, you have a vote for that, but what I would like to do is just showing you what I would like to see. So what I can imagine is that this image is getting here, and whenever we join the website, it's getting a little bit larger. So like something like, whoa, okay. So like this as an animation. And what I additionally can think about is that we create like, I don't know if Adobe will help me here a lot, but what I would like to see is a filled color here, maybe with the color of here. Something like that. And now I would skew the whole thing. I don't know if this is possible here. Vertical scroll, nope, nope, nope. This is rounded borders, also not what I want. Seems not to be possible, sad. Because what I would like to have is like that effect of turning it down. I have not really used React Native, at least not as a production ready and create everything with it. The thing is, I used Cordova in my beginnings, and then from Cordova I started with Ionic because I'm more in the Angular framework at the beginning, and then later I didn't have any more interest in cross-compiled frameworks for mobile. Then I started a little bit of Android development, but I don't really like it to work with the XML files everywhere. And so after a while I decided to skip the mobile part completely And then I think last year in August or something, I saw in Google I/O the Flutter framework, and I was like, just they think about developers, right? And this was very important for me because it cost me a lot of energy to just work sometimes with clients that really don't get that we developers need some beneficials. So it is always good that we have some benefits. So like fast technology, very easy to implement and all that stuff. So what I could imagine is something like this. Maybe in different colors and shapes, I don't know, something brighter. Make that a little bit smaller. I hope you see that I'm not a designer. It's just my idea of doing stuff. So in that we create like these 3 bubbles with different colors. I know some designers would say now switch the color to hue or something, and then you get there the colors easier. And now we get rid of the borders because they look pretty ugly. But I could imagine something like this. So, and then you would have here maybe a brief effect that is getting larger and smaller again. Maybe not that extremely, but just a little bit. And on the left side, we would have here our text like Flutter Evangelist. And then we would have here our normal text around that I can just take now for lorem ipsum from our website, miracledesign.de. So something like this. Up, and we bring it down here. Can I do that better? So that would be smaller and maybe Helvetica. Can we not do that smaller? Here we go. Something like this. And in that size, making it a little bit bigger. So, and then we would have our call to action underneath that, right? So like that. And we would have maybe some buttons down here. While I like writing the text contact us or something inside. Voila. And fill the color with something fancy, like, don't know if this is our main color. Maybe we take the main color of our logo, like this, or maybe the brighter one. No, I think the darker one comes better with the background. So, and then we would change the text color to something white, I think. Something like that, I could imagine. Huh. What do you think? This could be the first idea that I have. I'm not sure about this part here. That looks a bit wacky, I think. Could be that it is just not perfectly aligned with the right sizes. How big are they all? Let's make them to 120 and this to 600. And then move them along. And if they're all the same size, then it automatically gets a little bit better, I think. $200, 600, fantastic. So even if we keep that with that part here, the idea or the question is, should we do that as an image so that these three stuff behind here should be an image and then just as a background image somewhere, and then we would put these parts as elements on Flutter, or would we create everything in Flutter? Or make that a bit below? No. Something like that. What do you think? Is that good enough as a design, as a first start? We have just contact us here, right? Yeah. Maybe these colors could be also more identical to this colors here. So that we use this and maybe the blue one, and last but not least, white. And then maybe we can give the last one a border. No, that looks stupid. Wait. Do we have third color? Difficult. So Jonas, did that answer your question? Do we have a contrast here? I think for that SVG from here, we can also change the color up here. So if we have a specific color, which would be white maybe, or that bluish part here. So what is the color of my blue? This here. Voila, and everything is changing like that, but it's very darkish. So maybe the brighter one would be a bit better. Yeah, so that looks better, I think. We have here the source code. Yeah, but you see with that Headless CMS, we talked about it, and at the moment we have there multiple chances. But download this one, and I think Strappy it will be. So I can close off the, no, where are we? The poll, I think. Oh. Looks good to you? Perfect, pretty neat, happy with that. And I close the poll, and with that we will work with Strappy in the future. And here we have our coded thinking. I downloaded that one, yep, fantastic. Going to that one. And we put that here inside. Oh, I think now I have it part of the element. This is not what I want. So, separate. Fantastic. I think that purple one was maybe even a bit better. Don't know. Okay, but I think the general idea is here, there, and we know what we want to achieve. And I think with that we can at least start to work somehow in the Flutter web. And then we have to identify how we want to make that visible later. And we also need somehow our block, right? So most likely what I think is we have two options. We could add up here an icon with the material that we say we have a menu, a burger menu, and click on that and getting like a possibility to navigate to the block. Or we just write it as a navigation up here so that we would have here block. Where are we? Oh, it's white, okay. Change that to our main color at the moment, which is this gray one. And this would be a link like going to the block. Or as an alternative, if we don't use that navigation bar on the top, we could also do that all a little bit more like this and creating a nav drawer on the left side. No, but I think we keep that for now with the whole navigation part. I like that. Additionally, we can then scroll easier and so on. It'd be cool. So what I will do next is I want to take the different information that we have. So for example, that button color will get added to here. So with that, we have now the color for the font and the blue color here. And also I want to add the secondary color, which is this one. And now I will name them. So this is our secondary color. This is our primary color in that area. And now I selected this, so perfect. And that would be our ternary color or third color. With the secondary color, we could also call it accent color. Then it is more aligned with the Flutter framework theme. And primary color. And third color could be our font color, right? Also for the fonts, I will add the character styles, which is currently Passion 1 with the 64 points, which is known up here. And the normal text will be the half of it, so 32. At least for the part here. And what I could also do is make that a little bit smaller. Put that on the side. And all of these would change from 1200 to 1000 maybe. Voila. Got 0. Fantastic. And we move that underneath. No, that looks boring. It's cool that it is a little bit above, right? Stuff like this. And these parts here we will add as one group. So we group them. And we call this group SVG. No, what is a good name for that? Will be our... how do you call it? Main image or... no, main image. Let's keep it for main image. If we find a better name, we can search that still or do that still. Put it down because the navigation bar on top should be ahead. And this part is our navigation. So what I'm doing right now with that separation and this grouping here, with grouping you get one element out of it, so you don't have to click so much. And if you want to change something, you just double click in it. And what we call grouping here could be also transferred to a widget inside of Flutter then later, right? So we can also call this navigation bar later in Flutter, and then we know, okay, this is a widget that creates only this nav bar. Then for this part, it could be our main image, or I don't know if that has a name, the top image of the website. Image of website name. Okay, so I'm not design image on website. No, I think I can't find the name with that, but it's somehow the, I don't know, main image for now. Yeah, keep it. And this part here is our Jumbotron, right? So we group that too, and this is called Jumbotron. And as you see at the moment, this part can be a bit larger, so we do that. And thanks to Adobe XD, it automatically recreates itself. And here, that could be something like that. And why I'm so frenetic to make that already optimized is because I would like to make that later, that we can directly use that. So we have here the rectangle and the font that should be together, and the font should be above the rectangle. We group that too, because this is our button or call to action. So, okay. So maybe it's a good idea to make this year a design framework. Hero image is a fantastic name. Thank you, Musa. Header BG is also not too bad. The problem is header associates with me always like you have a footer and you have a header. So that image could be the logo or the header image. That is absolutely true. So, and also this part here will be also a group, because this will be our logo or named logo. Something like this. With that we can create later maybe a hero animation or something. And what I found also the last time was a pretty cool package on pub.dev, which is animated fonts, I think, which I really liked. I forgot about the name. Animated text, maybe animated text. A Flutter Pro, huh? Hopefully this is what I search. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. You can add something like this. So we could do that here on the, where are we? Where's my, okay, like here. And we could maybe instead of Flutter Evangelist, we could do something like Flutter Developer. Then it will be translated to Flutter Consultants, Flutter something, and always with this cool typewriter or something thing. I think that would be pretty cool. What do I like about different application prototyping tools? Well, I like and I love most, and I would do that also in the live stream, pen and paper. It sounds weird, but usually a prototype on a paper can be very easily getting rid of and restart. And as soon, especially with if I'm working with customers, I always have the problem if I show them something like this. The reaction is usually like here in the live stream, yeah, it looks good enough. The problem is then you don't really get an opinion from them. You usually just make the opinion from them, so it is very difficult. And if you are talking about prototyping tools like Adobe XD, Figma, and so on, I'm a very big fan of Adobe XD at the moment because it works very, very easy. That's pretty cool. And also this is a very good idea with folding, because folding can be a very good indicator for mobile, right? You can say, okay, this is your web. If you fold it by half, you can say this is your tablet, and then you fold it once more and this is your phone or something. Yep, that is really true. Yeah, and before I used Adobe XD, I was a big fan of, wow, the music is driving crazy at the moment. Sorry, I have to make it a bit further. What do we take now? Let's take some chill music, then I can talk better. You're very welcome. So Figma is a pretty cool tool that I also use, and for prototyping at the moment I use Adobe XD just because I know how the shortcuts are and everything, and I know where to go. And also, of course, about the XD to Flutter converter that we maybe can use and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. The only thing is, what I don't like about Adobe XD is the integration of icons and so on. That drives me crazy, to be honest. So if you are jumping into Adobe XD and I want to use now an icon from Google, you find this XD resources material. This is an own website, and the problem with that is in Mac it is not so handy to switch between tabs, right? So I always have to make right click searching for it. That drives me nuts. But the cool thing is, if you search something, you can then take that here. Or if you search, for example, that menu bar, I think the material icons is the part. And there you have, I think XD Guru created that one. And if you search now the menu bar, how do you proceed, right? Then you have to search somewhere. I think you go here and search then like menu. You select that one. And the good thing is now, if you know how the tool works, you can see that one of them is selected. And this is at the moment how I work on that, but I don't really, well, there are better solutions for this, I think, or at least I hope. So I close that off now. Yeah, so this is the idea. And the second thing that we maybe need, there's a drop down in the top bar. A drop down in the top bar? You mean at the material icons? So here, no. So we have here all icons, right? And this is a drop down, right? So no, this is not what you want, I think. A drop down in the top bar. The coding guy, what do you want to say me? I'm not sure. So in the center, no. Is it? Rename the document? No, I always have to change it like that. Can I zoom in what are the images? I can zoom in into the icons if you want to, but there, or do you mean inside of the Adobe XD? I think I can't increase here the size, unfortunately. At least I don't know how. If you have a good tool, please tell me. I can add that. Don't I have the screen brush? I should use that more often because it's pretty cool. I can draw some lines and so on. Okay, you don't miss here anything. It is just, but that's good to know. What I can try to do if I close that, I could maybe, is there some references or something here? Window zoom? No. View, show grid. Ah, wait, I can do something. I don't know if this is working, but I heard from a friend of mine who said that we can go to display. Oh, okay, so everything is moving. And here we have scaled opportunity, and then we can go here and make it a little bit larger. And even, I don't know if this is even, no, okay, let's keep it with that. And with that, it's a bit larger. What do you think? Is that better? Okay. I hope it's a bit better. Now we can see the stuff on the sides. And it would be material icons once more. It is smaller? Really? On the screen. Oh, sorry for that. What happened here? Okay, I see the problem. Just give me a second. I fixed it somewhere. This is it not. Display capture here. What did I do? We have the header here. Unlock. And now I have to move that. How did I change that? So, zoom. Transform, stretch to screen. No. No, I think I made a mistake somehow because I now increased the system preferences here. I have to somehow fix that here in that area. That's no problem with the confusion. I think I like that. It's a good break to all that work that we do. So I moved that a little bit. I just don't get right now why it's so broken. What I will try is I will change this here. Change that to here, back, drop. Ah, no, but now it's working. Okay, fantastic. I can do that, transform and fit. And even better, stretch. Fantastic. So, what do you think? It took a while, but hey, here we are. Cool. So now I just hope that my IDE is not, wow, ridiculous big. I think I have to reduce the font size here a little bit, which I do right away. Maybe also here. So, yes, so many yes. Fantastic. You see, I learn with you. So the next time you will have the perfect reading possibilities. So switch to the website live stream. Here we go. So this is our first screen, right? And we are happy and the prototyping could be fine. So in another screen that needs to be done would be a deletion of this. And if we click on this block part here, take that, and we want to navigate here. So that would be our home screen or even home page because it's website, right? Home page. Sorry. And that would move to block. So, and now this would mean that we have here our block somehow. Now it's getting difficult. How do we want to show the block? I would say we take the approach that we fix first the website, the first site here, and then we work on the block. This is okay for all of you. And make that here a bit beautiful. Why is that so ugly? We select that. Have to navigate here. The navigation bar, and it should be aligned to the rectangle. So you and you and you. This is I'm here, so zack. With that, this is now in the right position, and we bring that a little bit here. Like 40 plus 40 is fine, right? It's 5 times 8, so that's good. So additionally, a link should be always a bit colorful, right? Do we want to have buttons as a navigation? What do you think? It would be then more like a rectangle, small one. You can try Command plus to switch maybe. What is Command? The problem is I have a New Zealand keyboard and I have no idea where tilt is. I think that is something like that, and then I would... no chance, sorry. Okay, I think that's pretty cool. What do you think? What do you think about the font color? Should we change the font color maybe? We could make it just black. And if we go to, here I think. So if we go to fonts.google.com. Oh, look at that, you will read so much better for now. That's fantastic. So if we search for Passion 1, for example, we can scroll down here. And what the fantastic Google team is doing for us is creating like an example of if Passion 1 would be our headline, how the normal text would look. And then you can choose between different font sizes to just identify which one could fit better. So Passion 1 with Open Sans would look like this. With Oswald, it would look like this. And I don't like this font because it is very hard to read, I think. Wow, that's Merriweather as a header line and then Passion 1 as a sub text. What is the salary of 1 year experienced Flutter developer? That highly depends on what you are doing, how much reputation you have, how many, how much you do. At the moment, I would say the salary is in general pretty low because the most of the developers are searching for, or the most companies are searching for junior developers in Flutter, which is a very bad idea, but yeah. But I think you will make, it depends where you are living, of course, right? I can't really answer you that. What is Poppins? Is that this one? Poppins as the... So I would switch it. The problem is I can't move that here around, or... Ah, I can. So can I add more styles? No. Hey Reza, nice to see you. So I don't know, the salary of a Flutter developer from 1 year could be anything. In America, it could be like 100,000, I think, if you are in San Francisco or something. Hi Minu, nice to see you. Today we have a fun session, I think. We created a requirements list that I lost somewhere. Where is it? I really lost it. So let's see, we created a requirements engineer. Can someone give me the link again? I think I had that somewhere. Here. No, take that with and put that here. Here we go. So we created a little requirements list. We also added this CMS now. We will work with Strapi in our application for the block. Then we created a fantastic little design here that we can use now as a front page. And then we will start with the block. Wow, what is happening right now? 18 viewers? You make me nervous. Okay, and currently we're searching for a fantastic font for us. So I like the Passion 1 font up here. And now we are searching for a font that we can maybe use down here. At the moment, Helvetica, I don't really like that, but I think the idea with Poppins would be a cool idea. That looks pretty clean and neat, and because it has serifs, I think. Has it? Yeah, it has serifs, so it is very nice to read. It's very good. What do you think? Is that clean enough? Or do you think with the Passion 1 it looks too boring? We have that here in regular. We can also make it medium or semi-bold. I think medium would be good for this part. So it would look like this. Montserrat. Montserrat is also a famous color, that's true. We can check that out. Montserrat. And you know, okay, so we have Montserrat. It's also looking very clean. It has also serifs, if I see that correctly. So if you don't know what serifs are, so you can see, for example, on that P here, you have this little height here. And this little height is called a serif, so it makes it easier to read. Like, for example, for block entries or something like that, it's highly recommended to have these serifs because it makes it reading easier and is good for your eyes. There is a whole research around that whole topic. So what I will do, because I have to go to the bathroom, I would like to add some of the colors. Like, we will make a poll for it, right? So there is Montserrat as the main loyalty store pulse. So what I would like to hear is what should be our secondary font? And the first option will be was Forum. We are bathroom buddies. So Montserrat is the second one. Montserrat. What is the third one that we can use? Poppins. Poppins. And with the Poppins one, no, what was the third one? That was Forum. Oh, sad, it's not here. I have to install it first. Okay, so let's check back to our font part. And we are searching for Forum. Forum, oh, that's a very nice color. I like that because it's light. That is not too bad. So I download this font family quickly. I think it doesn't provide all fonts, but if you install them, then it will. Or hope, this is my hope at least. So we have Forum, we download it, and I will install it. Install font. So, is there any other font inside? No, it's just regular, all right. So, and because Mac OS is fantastic, on Windows you would now have to restart Adobe XD to get the font, but on Mac OS you have the benefit that it is immediately there. Wow. Okay, but I think if we take Forum, it would be a little bit bigger, right? It would be more this way. Maybe a bit too big. Something like this. So just that you have seen it once. It looks a bit rustical, like medieval somehow. So which state management you prefer for mid-range application? What do you mean with mid-range? Like a full application at the end with some functionalities. I like Provider and also Riverpod. So at the moment I would maybe recommend you Riverpod because I think that will be the Provider 2.0. But Block is also fine if you know how to work with streams. Also what you can do is using RX Dart and work with streams all the time and just create your own stream. And that you can support with, for example, what do I want to say? Yep, so let's test Muli, that is this one. And last but not least, Futura. Futura is also nice, right? But it's very bold. It is very close to the Passion 1 one that we have. I use these for UX design, but 2 of them are paid. Yeah, okay. So if they are paid, I will most likely not use them. So yeah, Riverpod is at the moment also my favorite state management tool. On the other hand, as I said, the RX Dart and also combined with Get-It, for example, is very good. I can highly recommend that. On the other hand, Block is also perfectly fine and MobX or 2. So it highly depends on which background you have and how much time you have to invest to start with it. And I think Provider and Riverpod is like a no-go. You just start with it, it immediately works. While Block and so on will have some time where you have to start, where you have to read a little bit. And maybe as an alternative would be Qubit, which is now integrated in Block, which I really like. I think there was a lot of discussions around that in my lower part. So we will use Muli as last. So that will be this. So, hey Ayush, and we see us in a second, and then I also properly introduce myself again, but I have to go to the bathroom. So see ya in maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I will make also a coffee because empty. Alright, so you have seen the fonts. I started the vote. Please vote quickly. Then we have a good font that we can use as our secondary font. Scope model is not really popular anymore. I think you have to write too much stuff for yourself. I think Provider is actually the surrounding of scope model. So yeah. Okay, I have to, yeah, second. See ya. Be right back. So, here we go, back from the break. Coffee's ready, my good decaf coffee. So let's see, how did it turn out with the voting? So Montserrat forum, all right. How do we look? Montserrat is winning at the moment, all right. So then change that to Montserrat. Montserrat, all right. Yeah, I think that looks very clean and beautiful, fantastic. So who do we have? Questions. Yeah, here. Do you want to continue your Flutter testing series? Well, we started it, of course we want to finish that. That is amazing, right? Right now we just made the Flutter pyramid, which I like as a topic, but let's say it is just very basic and now we have to finish that off, of course. So we complete the voting. Here we go. Fantastic. And of course, if we decide something like that, we also add that here. Have you checked Flutter Installer, sir? No, not yet. What is the Flutter Installer? Is that your app that you wanted to create? Decided for a secondary font of Montserrat. Why I am anonymous now? I think I have somehow locked myself out. So where is that? Ah, here we go. Somehow I created a second browser. Alright, fair enough. So what I will do is adding that stuff that I wrote seconds ago. Fantastic. Okay, so let me check. Flutter Installer is the name. Do I find that on GitHub? This guy? Yazid Al-Khalaf. Platform support. Okay, beautiful design, easy to use. Okay, sadly there is no image or something, so I would have to install it and I'm a bit too lazy for that. Haven't ever used it, to be honest. What I would like to use finally is the FVM. This is not what I mean Flutter Version Manager. Oh, I played yesterday around with your paper Fortune. I don't really believe in Fortune, unfortunately, but no worries. My favorite VM is the PowerShell, so with that I'm more than happy. So that's why, and FVM makes it possible to create a Flutter version per project instead of having always the global Flutter version. That's really cool, actually. And yeah, as I wanted to say, yesterday I had a look into the fortune teller app from Flutterist, and it's pretty cool, to be honest. I was completely overwhelmed with all your animations that you created. Did you do that with Rive, or did you just do that on the other side with Flutter completely or something? It was really amazing. Also the idea with watching ads to get started to see your fortune and so on, it's a pretty cool idea. I should read my fortune maybe in the future. Good question, Abby. Let's check out our GitHub repository. The problem is with the icon color, nobody really responds on that, which I can share the link, of course. You mean with the fortune teller app? Sure. For that, I have to go quickly to Twitter. So just a second. The good Flutterist. And he created the application here. So voila. Let me check where I can share it. Here. Or here. Or here. Voila. So this is the fortune teller app from Flutterist at the moment. Or do you mean the link with the document here? if you search the link to the document, I think coding guy can help you, or everyone who has the command. So it's doc website or something. Yeah, and the problem with our PR on Flutter is really that nobody really cares. I think the problem is not big enough, or that they have other problems or priorities at the moment. I think what happened is that Hans Muller, the guy from Material, added co-author, and I got a callback from Tim Whitting. He watched my video, which I really love to see, and after that he found out that I made a mistake. And what I did is fixing that mistake. But at the moment I just wait for Darren Austin that he answers something on that part. And what we also did is creating inside of the, where is the issue? Here. Inside of the issue we created some discussion. And if you would like to, you can also be part of the discussion, give some thumbs up, for example. Because what the idea is that we have something like an input decoration where there is an input colors, and this is an object which can have different colors for the icon, so we are a bit more flexible in that area. And so I added Darren Austin, but as I said, at the moment it seems that he has not so much time, so I currently wait for a response there. And to be honest, I don't really know how to proceed with PRs that are staying open. Should I approach someone, or so if you have some experience, or if Ayush is in the chat, how does he do it? Would be fantastic to hear, because 16 days is getting like old PR slowly. All right, so far so good. So where have we been? We had this part here, and we had this part. And now we wanted to create that website slowly, right? Okay, so what I also will do is adding this font here to our asset part. So, and we'll remove the Helvetica because this is not our secondary font anymore. I keep that text thing here. And for our primary button, we will use the secondary font, I think, or we will have a button style somewhere. So here, is there some music playing? Okay, I hope the music is not too loud. Just give me a hint if it is. So, and this will be white, right? And should it Montserrat, the font color, or the button color, or should it be another? Should we have a third font? I think too much fonts is too bad, right? I think 2 fonts is already pretty good. The Passion 1 is... Nah. Is it a good font? Nah, I don't think so, or... This can be aligned in the center of it. Like so. And so. Fantastic. Okay, but I think in general this is already a pretty good design. So... Okay, so we have that SVG down here, we have these layers. I don't know if we would recreate a stack for that actually and then do it in Flutter, or do it as an image and a background image of the container. Both of the options are valuable. The problem is if we create it in Flutter, we have to maintain it there. I think to create a background image has the benefit that we can just replace it with different background images depending on the screen size. The disadvantage is we have to create 3 different backgrounds for that, right? So we are maybe better if we do it in Flutter directly, but then we have to manage all the state there. And for the text and the navigation bar, I think we can start with that first, and then we can decide. Maintain there. So in my opinion is if we create, for example, these 3 layers here in Flutter, we have more code, right? And if we just create a picture, we don't really have code. And unwritten code is usually a good idea because if we have code in our code base, we have also to create tests for it. We have to think about, for example, if the screen size gets smaller, we have to resize everything and all that stuff. So we have really code into play. And actually all that stuff here, besides of the SVG on top, so this one needs to be a component in Flutter, I think, as an SVG image, because what we want to do futurely is like making a brief animation or make it a little bit bigger or something. So have there some animation into play. But for these three parts behind, there don't really happens anything with it. At least nothing that I see at the moment. And maintaining means for me then that we have to go inside and maybe have a problem with that because we have maybe an overflow box somewhere or something like that. So Yep, exactly, more blue. So this is what I think. So we will make a picture out of these three layers here. Then we have a background image. And the only thing is that this SVG will be on top of the image more or less. I think that sounds like the easiest approach at the moment. Okay, so for that we create a Photoshop, or I create a Photoshop or open up a Photoshop. And what we want to have is a create new, and we need now HD. So that means 1920 to 1080, which is the full screen size, right? Which we support at the moment. And now here we will have the free, oops, I try to make that a bit beautiful that we can work here. No, I have so many buttons. How can I scroll? Cancel. Okay, so it was just a bit larger. Okay, so we have here our canvas, and this canvas is now like 100%, right? So where we have our Adobe XD. And what I would like to do is we have multiple options. We could export these parts here. So for that we can select the hero image and have then these three rectangles. And if we check again the rectangles, should we maybe make also a shadow below there? Is that something cool, or is it a bad idea? So that they get like stacked on top of each other. And what we can do then is we can call them as exported. So we get them back if we export now here. So I made this little icon here, if you see that. And if we now export the whole thing, we can export a batch. And yeah, for example, here we have our design. We make that ready for web. Okay, so we export that. And if we swap then to our folder, so YouTube and designs, I think. Now we have the different rectangles here inside, and we have them with one X, which is this. And we have them here and here. And the benefit is, for example, the shadows are already there. So now I could select them. Voila. And bring them into our Photoshop. And add them here. And now it is getting different layers, as you can see. We have now 3 layers and the background. Oh, it's so large, everything. I think something has changed there really with that scaling. That was a good idea. So now we would put them as we want to, like on the screen later. So we have this part, we have that part. And I think the blue one is on top and the very blue is on top of that. So. And now we can work with them as we want, right? And because it is getting an image at the end, we can then we can now do whatever we want, and this will be our background image that we will use for the web. Okay, so how does it look in Adobe XD? They are all the 3 the same size, and they are getting like a little bit on the right and then a little bit on the bottom. So we have to recreate more or less this behavior. So what is the size of these things actually? I think we had like 2200 in X. This is the position. That is not what I want. Oh. This is the width, but in percentage. We can do that in pixels. And I would like to have the width on 1000 pixels. So. And the height. was, I think, let's check again on Adobe, 1000 to 600. Oops. So let's make some epic music now, that I also can hear something. Alright, so this part could be here, for example. Oh, that's a good question, Minnow. I will ask her if she makes that live. I don't know. She is currently still a bit worried that she will do a stream alone. But maybe you can convince her by writing her a lot of messages on Twitter. Alright, so we put that there. Yeah, I could do that with a stack, but then we have code that we have to maintain, right, Xaxa? That would lead automatically to more code. With that, we just have a background image. And that would make it a bit easier, I could imagine. That looks weird. Ah, the width is 1000. Flutter websites are responsive. All websites are responsive, actually. We have to do that ourselves, so more or less. What do you need to know basically? Well, you should know at least about Dart on the beginner part. So I would highly recommend you like pages like Exercisem, Sizem.io. These websites allows you to train a little bit your Dart skills. I think there's like Dart somewhere. Is that? No. Where's the Dart icon? I can't see it. Where's it? There. Fantastic. So the Dart track, which has currently a lot of mentors, and you learn like the basics of the Dart language, which are very mandatory. And then you should know how to implement columns, rows, what an expandable is, what a flexible is, getting a grid of, I would call it basic widgets that you should have in your portfolio and which you should know very well. And after that, you are already a Flutter developer, more or less. And maybe some background or API calls or some stuff. That would be also amazing. Okay. So what I will do now is I will add that image here, or I will create that image. But even though it could be that we will do that later in Flutter directly with a stack. I'm not sure yet. Highly depends on how much effort we want to put inside. So here we will create the background image, voila, and I will also export that. Fantastic. So, and that's it. So it's not too hard to get a Flutter developer. I would say a year of good training in different parts. You learn on for example, code generation with Build Runner is also a very cool topic that you should know. Absolutely more bleu, that's true. The question is, or I think Matab found a very cool website with Flutter interview questions. And what I really, what was it? Was it this website? So I think if you know all of them and you can answer them without searching for it, I think then you are pretty cool on the good way. Maybe can add this one, but this is just a repo. There's also another part, and another thing that I can explain or that I can recommend you if you want to get started with Flutter is the Flutter Roadmap. And the cool thing is Matab is creating at the moment a video, not this one, is currently creating a video called Getting Started with Flutter, and there she will show you some resources where you can get started and also like how you can proceed, what you need to learn, and so on and so forth. So this is pretty cool. I think that can help you. Okay, this was of course again full of topic, sorry for that, but let's jump back into here. And now I would say we start to write some code, or what do you think? Are we ready? Maybe what I will do is creating a background, a marker for export and export that as an image. selected. Yep, I think that's fine. Because what I would like to do is getting this homepage PNG and bring that to our document. That if someone is joining us, he can immediately see a design here. You're more than welcome. Design ideas or something? Ideas? Voila, that would be our homepage. Yep. Oh, this is number 1. I hope it's not too boring for you. And the music is too loud. Perfect. No, that's fine. I would love to hear something like that because I can't manage everything together. So, let me make it. We can also try to use XD to Flutter. Yeah, sure. But for now, I think that's fine. Here we have more image options. What do we can do? Don't play around. That's fine. Okay, so we have the homepage here. If you don't have access to the document, I think you can quickly share that link again with the community. That would be fantastic. Dear chat. So, yeah, I know. The problem is, or I wouldn't recommend, for example, Adobe to XD to Flutter by just saying, okay, I want to have that whole homepage created for you. That would be a bad idea. What you could try is creating components. So you start like an art book and you take smaller components and then put them side by side inside. Can we write a code like taking inputs for widgets like container, sizebox, animated container, and its program showing the code for the widget and preview of what they have chosen? I think so. Yeah, could be possible. No worries, Deep Sing. Rishabh Deep Sing. I really have to train names. Yeah, so a lot of people do that with the component stuff. Especially for buttons and so on, this works pretty well. The problem is that that Adobe XD have still some limitations. I think shadows, for example, are not possible and so on. And so you mostly will have to do anyway some twerks. Okay, so now let's create some code. Should we use Adobe to XD? I hope not, because then I would have this part already inside and I have to get rid of it. So I would stick without that for now. And I see right now from the background image that this is completely on the right. So at the moment that hero image will be more like this, I assume. So something like that. And this will be on top of that somehow, and we can navigate that completely freely. Because with that we can create this animation part, like so. And I think it's pretty cool that he is outside of the background, so something, it looks a bit more funky or fancy. I think that will be a solution, hopefully. Okay, but now back to our code. Here is the document. Here we have Miracle Design, Headless CMS, this can be gone, Strappy will be soon. Alright, so sounds good, then let's do that. I hope the music is now better and you can hear me again fine. And I will navigate here. Here's my code. So move that a little bit there. And fantastic. So what do we have created actually before we start with everything else? So if I click now on this nice little button here, we should get a Chrome editor or Chrome browser. This is that one here. So I remove also here all this stuff. So, and this is actually this here. Reduce a little the font size. Really? That's fantastic. I wanted to hear that because I don't have any space. So I reduced that to an 18 and hope that is good enough still. Appearance. No. Where's the font size of the editor? Font. 18. So is that good enough for everyone who's on the phone? Can you read still well? I know you have mostly the biggest problems with the font sizing, so... Okay, So currently we have this here, and the first problem that I see is that we don't use our font, right? Better, thumbs up, still quite big. Yeah, but I always watch for people on the phone, and people on the phone usually complain that it's too small, so I think that's fine for now. Okay. And if it's, yeah, on 13 sol it looks good. Okay. Maybe what I can do is reduce the font size of the menu surrounding it a little bit. Then we have here like 14. Even that could be a bit too small, but usually that is not what getting readed. Like here on the side, if this is not readable, I think that's okay. As long as this stuff here inside is readable. I hope so. Let's see. All right. So what I want to show you is this, and what I want to do this time, in different to all the other sessions, is I want to really take my time. So please, if I'm taking too long or something, there is a reason for that. That is actually because I want to make it as good as possible from the beginning with all the stuff. So that means, for example, here I would love to use immediately Google Fonts and finish that correctly off, and also make the border surrounding it and so on and so forth. So don't be stressful with that. I hope this is okay for you. All right, so where have we been? We created already our navigation bar. And I think in that navigation bar, we will find, for example, the image that we have currently as an PNG. There I would like to change to the SVG, because SVG can be scaled infinity because it has the paths inside. And with that, we have a bit more control about our stuff, and it looks more crisp, you know, than the sharp edges and so on. If we scale it, it looks very clean and sharp. And I would like to use that advantage, because if we scroll size that up here, for example, you could see after a while that there is getting like shapes and so on, and like anti-aliasing, which then leads to like a lot of dots or something like that. So I don't know if I have to explain that, but I do it. So let's take our image that we have. So we jump here. I think we have it under videos, YouTube. No, not thumbnails. I think it is designs. And we... oh no, I put that on the desktop, right? Yeah, here we go. Don't you prefer constants instead writing the whole path of asset anywhere? Yeah, that's absolutely true. We use constant, and we will do that in a second. But for now, I want to add this asset as an image, which is our new logo. And you see here, we have the paths, the different ones, with the height and the width and so on. And that should do the trick actually for our SVG. And if you have ever worked with Flutter and SVG, unfortunately we need a package to work with them. So there is the SVG package. Is it Dart SVG? I'm not sure. I think it is more Flutter SVG or something. Should write correctly, SVG. Unidentified, an SVG rendering and widget library. I thought, was it this one? Yeah, I think it was this one. Yep. Fantastic. Ah, you see, it's great when you have a community and can just ask if you find something. And with that, we can use then the SVG pictures from the asset, and with that, we can use it immediately. Cool. So we install the part. I didn't know that there is unidentified. It looks like an issue or not. Has someone created that here? Memory leak with page view. Cool. Yeah, I think the package is a plugin from Flutter, or at least they don't put it inside of the main repository because it is good enough for something I found inside of the Flutter GitHub repository. Yeah, so at the moment it has 800 stars and it has quite some likes, so quite successful. So I will add that dependency. That's okay. So if I click here, Okay, some documentations are missing and the support for multiple platforms. I think they have not set inside which platforms they can work with. Static analyzer, ooh, that's not that good. Okay, so this is the point system from pub.dev if you don't know it, and with that you find the different problems. Because it requires... Okay. I think Flutter itself does not support SVG, that's correct. And I think they don't even think about to support it. They will always say just take the SVG plugin or package. Okay, but I will take that. It seems that it could be, or the dependencies could be read, so that's fine. And inside of our navigation bar, what we will do is, first of all, creating a constant for this one. So this will be our logo image path, and this is a string and a const. And with that, we can put that on top of the navigation bar up here. I will not put that yet in a constant file or something where we can find all of them and import them, because with that we know it is only used inside of the navigation bar. So if we search for this stuff, we can just search on top of the file and know exactly where it is. And we change that to SVG. And I think down here we have to change that a little bit. This will be now SVG image or something, or image SVG. Let's check. Example. Okay, that's a lot of text. Here. So SVG picture, of course. Dot and then asset, I think. So you have all the things that you would have for an image too. So memory, file, asset. And if you didn't have seen the live stream from yesterday where Matab and I fighted with that memory stuff, then yeah, you can do that now. It was fantastic. Or after this live stream, of course. So the asset would be then the image or logo path, right? What's the name? Logo path. Cool. Yeah, it was a horror with yesterday. I don't know why that memory was so problematic. Ah, okay, that's unfortunate. It seems that the SVG is not getting loaded. Why? The path is the same, right? Assets, images, Flutter explained logo SVG, looks good. And the pubspec.yaml, we have imported all of them. Ah, should I restart the app? Yep, we can do that. Let's try. Ah, have I made pub.get even? Maybe this would be the first thing to do. Fine. Here we go. No, still no image. Wow, whoa. Failed to load the source for favicon, okay. Something is broken, I think. Unimplemented error. Pub cache Dart link, okay. The following render object has been processed. SVG padding, okay. Ooh, I have the bad feeling that the SVG package is not working on web. Could that be? Support for web. Oh no. So enough support is now in the tooling to make sense of testing it. Unfortunately, a bunch of features, okay. Yep, I shared the link if you want to join into that discussion here. It's quite a big issue, I think, for web. But maybe we can do something. But the example doesn't render anything. The first error in the core stack is round. Okay. So they have already a lot of discussion. You can only send me links via the Discord server that you find here, or via Twitter. And Twitter is my handle. What is my handle? Flutter XP, I think. This guy. Flutter SVG in web. I think it's not supported yet, and that would be horrible actually for now. Then we would need to find a surrounding or something. Load the image over the network for the web, store the asset on a CDN. Cross-platform SVG widget, something like, okay. Okay, so maybe we can use, instead of the SVG, the cross-platform. Invite invalid. Okay, why invite invalid? That is impossible, guys. I know that it is valid. Just give me a second. Blah blah blah, DevTown, here we go. And we search for Flutter, and now I'm clicking on the DevTown. Asking for invite people, getting the link, which has changed, unfortunate. Post it again. And let's see if this invite is better. And I will check if I can change the command. Did that work with the new command? Ah, fantastic, love it. So where's my command? Here we go. And this would be Discord here. Change that to this one. That would be great, very good if we finally get some people here on Discord, because usually I'm pretty alone, and I think Minu has also written some questions and Wabian, but I think it would be great to have some more people there. Alright, where have we been? Here. So you want to send me a file, right? You told me, and SVG, no. Platform SVG. In the worst case, we have to transform all the SVG files that we have into a PNG, and then we have to stick with the PNG for now, which would be also okay-ish, I would say. It was not perfect, but it would be okay. Asset, and giving the image, no logo, image path. Joining with my real face, alright. Ah, I thought this is your real face. So where is now my Chrome? Here. Okay, so with the PNG we have a crazy big one. Vector path, okay. Sounds complicated. So what is vector path? I don't know. So we have to change the SVG here and then have to change that to vector paths, or what do you mean? And we can say here the width is like 180 and the height is 180. I even think it was smaller, right? So this was 100 to 110. So we keep it with 100 to 100. Marvel logo.dart. Assets. Oh, really? Ooh, okay. So let's have a look if this works. And comma. So instead of that, we have assets, and then images slash Flutter explained logo SVG, and the semantic logo would be explained logo. Make some commas. So fantastic. And this one would be actually the voila. And what we need to do is calling that the web logo path. It is one asset. I thought. So he created an asset folder inside of assets. Or is it just for this? Okay, we will see in a second, I think. So let's see. At least something is very big here. It is not visible, but very big. Fantastic. Okay, so let's see. If we remove one, what happens here? Nothing. Maybe to stop again. And where was it? DevTown. Here we go. No, unfortunately not. It complains about the favicon that is not found. That's fine. Remove the slash in front of it, like this. 4 modules have been hot reloaded. It's getting even bigger, right? So I close that one off again and start again. Let's see. And the link I will, should I share the link in here or on the Discord? I think on both, right? We add it here and still no space. And if we add a second assets. Interesting enough, it doesn't throw an error, right? I would expect if this is completely nuts, so like, I don't know, like this, completely nuts, and we take a look, then we get an error, right? It can be loaded and die. It focused only on that one channel for Flutter, and I think Raven from Twitter was so nice to create for me a Flutter channel, and this one is completely for Flutter and more or less for us. The only thing is it is not allowed to make any advertisement inside. But I like the idea to be here part, because then I don't have to take the management of the Discord server, which can be sometimes very difficult. And time consuming. All right, so this is broken. Assets slash, yeah, one assets is enough, I think. And then the part, it works somehow, but it will not display it. But you also said that we have to change something to vector, right? If I'm correct. I check that once more out. You're welcome. So this asset Marvel SVG, how does it look like in the assets? So we take a look. If we go here to code, that is more with paths, right? And G and that stuff. Can I convert? All good? Fantastic. Can I convert somehow an SVG to that style? As someone very good experience with SVGs. I don't know what this is, but it seems that the whole image, so the 4 paths that we have as an image in Photoshop, has been created here as base 46 strings. And with that, it's getting displayed. I think that is not a good solution, right? We would like to have this path stuff here. Okay, on the other side, I would say I would keep that in mind, and I would maybe add also here like to do implement if SVG for web support is there. And I would like to add the issue number from where we have it, this guy. So, not maybe the best solution, but I don't want to invest now the full time just to add the logo image path here somehow. So this is again the logo image path. And what I will change is now we will not work with SVGs as long as they are... Try right click on egg in eyes. I think there is a convert option. What is an egg in eyes? So you mean here? Evaluate XPath? No, that's something else. Yes, the file is already added in pubspec.yaml. As I said, that we can see by, if we add that here, we find that in the web here, and you see it is there, and we don't get an error that the file is not visible. So it is in pubspec.yaml, and it is also visible for the code. In other words, with something as early access as Flutter Web, better avoid any external packages, stay vanilla. I don't think this is completely true, but I know that I think on pub.dev you will find a lot of packages that have the web support already in place. So if you go for example mobx here, you will see that Android, iOS and web is supported. So they are pretty far with that. But without this web flag, I would say you have a pretty hard time. Same stuff with that SVG package, which has still an open issue support for web. And I'm pretty sure that they are working on that 18 hours ago, actually. So they are currently working heavily on that to support it more and more. And I think the Flutter Web is now in beta release, right? So it's getting also more and more important for the Flutter community. So let's see if they are working on that. And as soon as it's implemented, then I would recover that and would work again on that. Until then, I would just stick with a PNG and create the right sizes from the SVG and would just take it this way. I think that's for now okay. I hope this is okay for you. So, where's our image? Is it a PNG image? Yes. And we would remove the SVG here. Or better, no, keep the SVG, but we don't use it yet. Or maybe I check for the next time when we have a bit more time how we could transfer this stuff into a real SVG. So like Photoshop SVG to, I don't know, is it in shape or path? Not rasterized, export SVG images. That is true, but that's the benefit of Flutter, right? I want to test that. This is at the moment like trying a bit around, and I like free time for me, right? If I would work production ready, I would not use Flutter for that at the moment in web. I had a customer who searched for a framework that he wanted to use, and I mentioned Flutter, that it can soon support web, but I would not recommend it. On the other side, I think there's a website that creates marketing websites and so on with Flutter Web at the moment. Is it Emster? I forgot the name. They make these marketing stories on Flutter. Stories, Flutter? Maybe Flutter Web? It was a pretty famous website with a lot of good information about it. Tencent, Realtor, Square. Fantastic, I love that. AMP stories? Maybe? Yeah, I think this website is it. If you... Was it that one? I don't know anymore, sorry. It's not worth to waste the time there. Okay, so we have our image path, we have the image, we get a semantic label, which should be, if someone comes with a screen reader, he should read or can read that image, which is most sometimes important for people who are having not the benefit to see everything like we do. So the height should be 100, we said, and the width also. This is according to our design, right? So hopefully it is not too big. Hot reload, no. Okay, got a hiccup. That's all right. And for the text, we want to use Passion 1, right? So if we take a look here, we have here the Passion 1 with the big size. 64 in that case. So for this, actually, I would like to use the Google Fonts package, right? Because that makes sense in that case. And I think the Google Fonts package is also supported. Yep. No, not this one, sorry. pub.dev. Google Fonts. And here we can see that we can use that as a styling and we can just import it. And oh, it has also no web support. Okay. I'm pretty sure it works, but let's see. In the worst case, we have to switch with that and have to download the font and implement it correctly. So we have the Google Fonts package here. And I think that has now all the fonts that we need. And I think they have also the possibility of offline support, so we can also download the fonts and everything. Yeah, so we can also move the fonts into a top level directory inside of assets, and then we can use them too. And the best thing is, here I found the first time this license registry, so we can also add that there, and then we have the licenses for the different fonts also in place. All right, so let's see. For this text, we have to get the dependencies, of course. And if we go back to our Adobe, we have 64 pixels and Passion 1. All right. So here we have style, Google Fonts dot Google Fonts. No. Was it differently? Let me check. So we have here the import, and after that we use it by Google Fonts dot. Okay, it seems that something happened during the... it's a def dependency. Yeah, that is wrong, of course. So bring it into the real dependencies and pub.get. And now he's maybe more happy with it. Yeah, here we can import it. And now we can ask for the font that we want, which is in our case Passion 1. So I will use that one. And is that a good idea? Then we have to set it for every font, right? It would be maybe a better option that we say we create a theme that contains always as our primary font size, the primary font, the Passion 1, and as a secondary font always the Montserrat, right? So I will do that maybe now. Oops. So in our main.dart, you find that we have already this theme data part. And what I would like to do is creating this in an own file, because maybe, or in the future, I would like to have that dark light theme trigger that most of the websites today have. So I create here a file, theme.dart, which contains a class theme, which current selected theme is always light in the beginning. This is a, what is that? It's just a string, I think. Or better, I have an idea that would be, make it easy for now. So we have a theme that we can get back, and we want to have the light theme. And this is theme data dot, or is it just theme? Theme dot light. Here we go. Just have to import that. And now we can use copy with on that. I think we have to execute it, but then we have copy with. And inside of here, we can now change a lot of stuff. And one of the things is the text theme itself, which then is again theme data dot light dot text theme with copy with. And inside of here, we can now change what we want. So you see, we have now the opportunity to override all the different parts, and we can use this as our override. Oh, there was a subscriber, I think. Yep. Fallon Ross. Hey, welcome to the Flutter Explained community. All right, so with all that in place, I can now take this variable. And I know some of you like that I named that correctly, so it is a theme data. Voila. And we want to use that in main.dart instead of using this here. So now we get the theme, and I think I make that static here. And then we get the light theme here. So theme dot, theme is not a good name, right? Don't override stuff. So this is our website theme. And now it should be better. Website theme dot, we have to import it, of course, and then the light theme here. So we can do that later with the provider or whichever state management we use. We can then switch the different themes here. Okay, and Flutter demo can change to Flutter explained website. So how does it look like if we jump here? That is way too small, of course, and the logo is not visible. Unfortunate. Why not? Assets, image, Flutter explained PNG. It is assets, images, assets, images. Do we have to do it twice? Yep, okay, so twice is correct for a web. So what we can do is K is web, I think. And else we have the same path, but without the secondary asset. It should be actually the website, but it is just for now that we know exactly what we want to achieve here. Okay. So in this Passion 1 here, we can now use the theme, right? That's why we created it. And in this text theme, we will use what could be the large headline that we have there. Overline, headline, subhead, subtitle, or title itself. Could that be the title? Or is a unique font that we maybe don't want to override? Because the logo up there could be pretty unique. Not sure with that yet. So maybe you have a good idea, then we will implement that there. So for that, I will just keep it here for now. And I think the font size was 46 inside of our example, which is super huge. Crazy. It doesn't look that big here, right? It's 64. Wow. Am I on 100%? Yeah. And still this is not visible. It seems that the images anyway have a problem in web, huh? Like in general. If I make a hot reload, it works. Oh well. So in my opinion, this is a bit too large. Or what do you think? I mean, we don't have to be that obvious. So what I will do is going a bit smaller, like 48. And I think the problem is because this is not working with pixels, this is working with PT or points. I think that it makes a large difference there. I don't know if we can change that, actually. Substitution, smart quotes, no. Speech, no. No. Alright. But I think it should be a third of the size of the widget, right? So if I'm selecting that, it has a height of 70. So that looks already much better. Yeah, something like that. Now to the font. Currently in Adobe we have it in this gray color. Do we want to keep that in gray? If so, we can take that and override the color here. This will be 0xFF and getting this color. And this color should be getting somewhere else in a different place, maybe in the constant file, because this will be the font color that we have in general. So. Now this is the only problem that is a bit off, but I think we can anyway remove that icon down here. It looks in general a bit large, everything. I don't know why exactly this is the case. So this has a height of 110, and this one from 160, but it looks a bit too large. Don't know why. So maybe we have to reduce that anyhow in our website here. So if this part here, that row with that padding would have a container, because we want to give that a shadow later, as a height of 160, right? Max. So now it looks like this. Interesting enough. The question is, do we really need these two then? Not really, it getting aligned with that. But even 160 looks very big. Ah, I forgot always that I can't use that. But what we can use is the DevTools. So, the problem is that it's pretty large. Ah, and I have also scaled my Mac OS. Maybe this is also the problem, that it looks that large. Good question, don't know. Okay, so this is our part. White paint, okay. So we have that column, all that stuff. If I select something, can I do that here? Yeah, select widget mode. And I would like to select this here. So we have that image down here. Multiple arrows, okay. This is the semantics, this is the text, where we can change the font size. Okay, I'm not that happy at the moment. It looks a bit off. It's way too big, everything. So let's see, let's smaller that all down. Hey Naive Android, nice to see you. So 120 height. make that all a bit smaller. We make the font from that logo, I reduce to a height of maximum like 60 pixels. So now it's getting hidden, and a width of 60. Finally you found me? Was I away? I did not hide myself, promise. 36. That's maybe a bit too small. So, still too big. If we get 80, and does it look good? That's maybe better. And now we have to get it somehow aligned vertically. I don't know why that is not standard the point. So inside of that we have a cross-axis alignment, which is center. No. This one. So the web behaves really completely different somehow. Also the hot reload is not that beautiful at the moment. And we have that padding up here, which I can remove maybe now. Or for now. And why do we have a padding up here? It's still somehow a bit too far. And how to make network? Well, network sounds a bit too large for a question, because I think you mean more like you can connect that with HTTP or something. You can make WordPress to a backend if you have a WordPress REST API. I think you can find that here, for example. You have to create a REST API for that, and then make HTTP calls with the package HTTP or with Dio. So I will add that to the chat. So Dio, HTTP, and last but not least the WordPress REST API. I think you will find the REST API, there is a handbook. Yeah, Robin, I think that's a good point. What I could also do, and I can check that, is I can change the channel to master, and instead of working on web, I could maybe work on the Flutter macOS. So we make Flutter upgrade. Could take a while, but then we can work on the Mac, and then we just ship the whole thing into web later, if everything works well there. I think that is maybe the best option at the moment. Thank you, Robin. I hope this is okay for everyone. The benefit is that the performance is way better on Flutter macOS. iPad simulator using a VM. What is... What do you mean with using a VM? I mean, iPad simulator is just the iPad, right? I think you can install these diff. Da, da, da. So I think I will do now another 15 minutes or so, and then I will take something to lunch, and after that I will make an afternoon work again if you would like to. I would maybe write some code in the afternoon, maybe too. Because I think we were really successful this morning with the different designs, with the document and so on and so forth, and that's pretty cool. So now download Dart Sdk, that sounds wrong. So we search for Flutter. Wait, make first the Flutter doctor. So I think that was, yeah, he's on it. Then we have searched for the SVGs, how we can implement that. We have the background here ready. The design looks already pretty fresh, I think. Could be pretty cool as a website for us. We decided for Strapi as a headless CMS later. The only problem is that we have now to wait. So what do you think about this stream? Was you happy with it? What should we improve? For example, what I would like to do in the future that I can maybe show you on the flutterexplained.live website, we have currently the possibility for so we have currently the merchandise stuff, but we have also these loyalty points. I don't know if you know that, but if you watch on this website, you have the possibility to receive these loyalty stuff, like for example that early access to a blog entry, which is now old because it's already released. But you can also make these cheer sounds, and if you wait long enough, you can also get a personalized card from us and all that stuff. If you have ideas what we can also push in that loyalty store, for example, we think about something like rewards, like Udemy access to some courses or something like that. So please let us know, that would be fantastic. What is the time to be live on YouTube? Usually the timings are when, so I think you can enter next stream. So these are our usual timings. So I'm there on free MacBook, yeah, with like 1 million watch time or something like that. I will do that. So the next stream should be somewhere on Wednesday usually. So there we have a stream on 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And on Saturdays usually we have also 1 or 2 live streams, which is also at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And usually you find them on the link that you see there, that is our YouTube channel. And yeah, so it highly depends. Today is Sunday and I got some free time, so I decided to make some live streaming here. Why? Because I love that. So at the moment everything is a bit ad hoc, I would say, so we just jump around with that. Yeah, it's always like we have time, and like today I also want to get further with a project, then I will do that. So just be aware, be always on our channel, follow the chats, be on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and then you will find also the next live streams, hopefully early enough. And also, if you don't know about the different streams, I think we created now for nearly all. I have a big doubt, can I ask? Yeah, sure. That's why I'm here. To resolve all doubts with Flutter. If you mean with networking HTTP and making network requests, I think I have already created a video for that. It's a long time, an older video, but that would be helpful there. And I maybe make another video with the DO package. I think that would be also beneficial. Which brings me to the open video list. What was it? Doc video, I think. Minnow completely on the first. More files with less code is usually preferred. So I think you will not find any documentation or people who saying that a very large file is good. If you maybe remember the recipe app from 2 weeks ago, or no, not 2 weeks ago, from Wednesday, I think the second video now on the list, Matab and I had a very large dashboard file, like 300 lines of code, and we couldn't find the different widgets anymore. So it is very hard to jump there inside. So it is way better to have organized files there. What I will always recommend is if you have a screen with multiple widgets down there, so like home screen with navigation bar, then add everything inside one folder. Then you have a bit more space there. Hey Naive, nice to see you. Now we have a subscriber. Welcome to the Flutter Explained family. All right, so that is that. So how does it work here? So fantastic. And now what I will do is inside of here, I will call flutter create dot. And with that, I also create all the files for macOS and so on. We are changing right now from Flutter Web to Flutter Mac because we had some issues with files and also laggy restart and so on. And for my free time, I wanted to get not these problems, so I decided to switch to macOS, or we all decided to do that. And that's fantastic. Happy to hear that. More number of files or a single package? Well, it depends. Is the package good enough? Is it maintained? Do we have any problems with this package? I'm always a fan of having a package. So for example, when we had our first applications, Martab and I, we created like a package for our repository, for example, so that when we would switch the backend, we could just switch that package there and then we would be ready with that. But that highly depends on how good is the package. Do you want to use a package that is third party, where you lose like control over it? Or do you use a package that you have under your own control and so on? So it's a quite difficult question, you know, it highly depends. I would never recommend, I think in NPM you find everything, like is equal is a good example. And this drives me nuts, something like that, because it is a very small package. And I don't know if I can show you. And the only thing is that happens inside there is that it makes 2 exclamation marks or 3 exclamation marks to it. And it is like used 103 times, 1,000 times, because large packages depend on that. So this is a problem from NPM, that also the smallest size code is an own package. And I think the guy who created that is also very proud on that, which, to be honest, is not really a good thing. But yeah, I think currently in pub.dev we have not this problem, luckily, but who knows what happens in the future. Okay, so we get some issues here. What is going on? Failed to load font with URL. Okay, that makes sense. The problem is with the macOS that we have to add some permissions there if we want to access the web. I'm so cool. I'm very happy that you say that, Nave. If you are happy with the content, I'm happy. I heard yesterday I have a YouTuber that I follow. His name is what is his name? Spiffing Brit, and he is such a funny guy. And he always says some stuff like, "I enjoy." If someone says, "I enjoy your content," he always answers with, "I enjoy your existence." I don't know why he says that, but I find it ridiculous. Okay. Now I got completely off topic, I'm sorry. So we are here, we ready this, we have problems. And we wanted to go to pub.dev, and what I wanted to search is, no, not pub.dev, I want to get macOS permission internet usage. I think that stuff is not called permission, that is somehow different called, right? Entitlements, exactly. So what do we find? Closed. I'm finding it very tedious to create a project. macOS snippet from com network client, this guy. Hi Rakshid, nice to see you. You're coming always to the end. So, and if I'm going now to the macOS part, I think I can reveal that in the Finder. Yeah, sorry, but that's no problem. I think the next time you will be there. How to know that I have an issue in my package? My question looks dumb, for since you are a pro, forgive me. If you have a issue in your package, well, you will get build errors, I hope. Your tests will not run well. You have problems in finding code that you have to maintain. Yeah, all that stuff. So you can choose. So in order to add this entitlement, I think we have to add that in these 2 parts here. So network server, boolean, okay, and I think we can, was it a right click, add row? And then we add this part here. Why is it an array? I think it is a boolean, which is then also yes. And I think the same thing we have to do for the release entitlements then. Row, voila. You could also download the fonts and could skip that step, but in any case, I'm pretty sure that we want to access the internet with our application. So I do that here. And if I start now up the whole thing in macOS, we should get there a solution. Ah, what a nice Sunday to start it with a stream. Oh. So, no host specified URI. Okay, but we got the font this time, so this is working. Oops, close that. So, and I think that's pretty cool already. So the next thing is, why do we don't get our font? Data, assets, image. Okay. So now we have again a problem. Luckily not too hot. I think it's raining, or not really raining, but it's cloudy today at least. So let's check that out. I think the weather, Karlsruhe is the city where I'm living. So 25 degrees at the moment. So it's still hot, but not anymore that bright. I don't like these two numbers if I see that, because I'm very bad with hot weather. 2 years ago we have been in Morocco at this time of the year, and it was till now the worst time in my life because it was so hot and I couldn't stand it. It was too hot for me, and it was just crazy. So, node blah blah blah, client and server entitlement restrict only the initiation of network. That's fine, we work there. Okay, so the question is now, why can't we see the image? Flutter macOS image or asset. That we have done, asset variants, we have done that. On iOS, are available through main bundle. The lookup key used, for instance, of type. Oh, okay. This is the icon path. This is something else. iOS emulator not loading images. Is that the same problem? macOS, asset, Flutter, and then this error. Here we go. (2018) The problem? Yeah. True. But this is also about the URI. We don't have a URI, right? We're using actually just the asset. But we are going to... we're using... That makes sense, maybe? With that image path, maybe now. Aha, here it works. Yep. Fantastic. Mac and X, fantastic. Cool. So now we have that space. The only question is now, why do we have so much space on top of that? I don't get it. Is it because of the height here? Yeah. So this container has that height and it should stay like that, but this row is not centered. So what we can do as easy, it would be just enter that, but that doesn't work. And this also not. So my question is, why is that container height pushing everything to the bottom? Because this seems to be down aligned. I would like to have that in the center of that. Cross axis alignment. Axis alignment center. No, also not. Yay! Finally some icons. That is very weird, but in my live streams nearly no one uses icons in the chat. At least so far. Let's see if this changes in a couple of weeks. So, now still I'm confused why this is not working. So we have a row inside of a row. So what happens if we center this row here? Cross-axis alignment, center. No. Does someone have a good idea why this is not working? Or is it really weird? Can I make that smaller for now? Like this? Voila. And now I think we can have that part here on the same level. And why I want that is because of the Flutter Inspector has this nice little icons here. And we can read a little bit. So actually the 160 is correct. We have enough space on the bottom and the top, you see? That means my idea is wrong. So this one could be also smaller. And then we get a little bit less space there around. Do we need then this center here? No. Fantastic. So we can also make that to 80. I think that's perfectly fine. Or what do you think? Great. And you see with the macOS stuff, with the main macOS, it works a little bit easier. Hi Nico, nice to see you. So, also some space, doing that away, perfect. Okay, so instead of having that very large image from time to time, what I would like to do is making this a flexible. Does that work? No? Was a bit too much. Ah, because the text is then not part of it. Okay, maybe I keep that for now. Where's Matab? Matab is not there. She's on the other room today. She takes a day off, more or less. Yep. Okay. So we managed to have that in the center. The only thing is that I would like to add now as the last point till before we do the afternoon break, I would say, we create here a box decoration with a shadow. And this shadow is a list of different shadows. And we can put a shadow inside with a color. Color 0xFF, and we do that black. Fantastic. And I think we have to pass something else inside. Ah, this is a named parameter. Of course. And the blur radius is... Let's see. Check. Go down. We have to select that part. So the offset is 0, 3. Offset is 0, 3. And the blur radius is, what did we see? 6 in that case. All right. So, as you can see, it looks pretty odd. Ah, does it need a color, that box now? Yeah, all right. Funky. So this colors.white we can remove to a const color 0x. Stuff like that. Fantastic. If you don't know why I'm using always const, it is a performance thing. You're very welcome, Morbleu. So if whenever you use const in front, it's mostly very performance, so I highly recommend that. And you can create constants for that instead of using the colors.white, for example, because it will be a bit slower. Not very much, but a bit. So, and the next problem is that this border is like very strong, right? So let's reduce that a little bit. 44 maybe? I think that's okay. Or what do you think, guys? We can also take here a look how strong it is. It is 16%. And what is 16% by, need to 255 divided by 100 times 16. So that would be 40. So what we can do is getting here 40. Is that correct? 4, 0. I think I made a mistake. But I'm happy that it looks pretty good. So I think that's fine for today. Okay, so I make the first break today. thank you so much for joining. It was a fantastic start of the day. I hope this afternoon I can do another one. So don't be surprised if I just make a quick start of a stream and you will find somewhere on Twitter that I'm streaming again or seeing on the channel. Else, highly recommend you the last video from us, the Flutter testing. Thanks for joining. Until the next time. See ya! You're welcome.